So let's start with your first overall pick here, because I'm going to question this right away. So you
Sure.
have Justin Herbert going instead of Joe Burrow. And this is where I'm waving my premature flag here. Now, I think what Justin Herbert did was terrific this year. I mean, he set rookie records, he threw the ball all over the place, and his physical skills are just off the charts. I mean, with his arm strength, he's got athleticism, he's got some guts to throw deep down the field. But I'm not ready to say that Cincinnati would definitely take him over Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's season was cut short, but his team was also not good at all. His offensive line was about as bad as it gets in the NFL. He did have some weapons, but Joe Mixon didn't help him out at all from the running back position. And I thought Joe Burrow played really well and showed some guts, some accuracy. He does not have the arm of Justin Herbert, but I'm not entirely convinced that Cincinnati would say, no, we absolutely want Herbert, because I wonder about some of Herbert's things that he does well and how sustainable they are. One of them was he was great under pressure last year, which we know is kind of a statistically year to year thing that goes up and down. So when you're throwing deep down the field all the time and you're under pressure a lot, do you repeat that from year to year is my question. And also, I also think that, and this is being a little harsh on a rookie, I know, but his reputation in college was, does this guy in the big moments step up big? And he didn't always do that in his first year, and he didn't always do that at Oregon. I'm not saying I'm down on him or that he's a bust or anything like that. I just wonder if the Cincinnati Bengals watched it back, both of their rookie seasons, if they would definitely say, yeah, give us Herbert, we made the wrong call.
Well, I'll say that writing this redraft, which 32 picks usually takes a while, this took longer than any of the other two that I've done in 2018, 2019, and last year, because I sat there at number one overall, like ready to type and ready to make my pick. And like even me as the GM for all 32 teams, it took me so long to decide, would I go Justin Herbert or just stay the course with Joe Burrow? And for a lot of what you said early in that about Justin Herbert, his physical skills, the guts, the arm talent, that is what the ultimate tiebreaker was for why I went Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow. I think the knee injury matters a little, but we've seen so many quarterbacks return from ACLs and they look the exact same, if not better, than in the past. But this is a little bit of what I said in the intro, that I think a team would say, man, okay, we've seen pretty much a full season from Justin Herbert. We know he fits that mold that you and I have talked about at length, with the improvisation and the arm talent that can make ridiculous throws. And we've seen him succeed on a Chargers team that wasn't great. They lost a lot of close games, but their offensive line wasn't that good either. Are we going to, with a chance to pick him or Joe Burrow, are we going to pick him or Joe Burrow, who's coming off an injury that is a little bit more limited with his upside? And I think that's the one thing that I wrote pre-draft about Justin Herbert over Tua and over Joe Burrow, was that he can make throws that neither of those quarterbacks could make. I like Joe Burrow and Tua, had them both graded just ahead of Justin Herbert. But those things that we thought, hey, maybe if Justin Herbert can be a little more aggressive and is not so conservative when he's under pressure, he could be really good. And he was those things in 2020. So that's ultimately, it was close, but that's ultimately why I went Justin Herbert over Joe Burrow, was simply just the upside he possesses, and that we saw a lot of those raw skills and talent really materialize themselves during his rookie season.
And I think it's fair to look at Joe Burrow and say, clearly the translation was not there for the arm strength. I mean, that he was not throwing bullets all over the place. And the funny thing is about in college, we'll say, hey, this guy's a decent athlete in college. And then he gets on an NFL field, like, not
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
Now all of a sudden you're a below average athlete, because you have to be a great athlete in college. Like Baker Mayfield was, I thought, real athletic in college, or how it looked with him moving around. The NFL, no, you're one of the guys who's not going to make a difference with your speed and mobility. But I did like Joe Burrow's poise and how he looked taking on a very difficult situation. Certainly the Chargers were not a great team, but I think they were far more talented than what Cincinnati was bringing to the table this year. And so you'd have to kind of normalize for that. I get your argument for sure. The upside on Justin Herbert, there's no question it's better. I think this would be an incredibly interesting thing to hear from people inside the Cincinnati front office. Like, what if they had this debate again? And I think you make a fair point about how, the physical physical skills are really showing up to be difference makers, even for guys that don't have perfect accuracy or have other flaws in their game.